Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Ulflorn 14 Nerdiness. Tonight, or today, or whenever you're watching this, we got some fun stuff in store. So, I told y'all about the D&D one shot that we're going to be doing. We got a date. We're going to be recording on January 6th. So, it might drop that night, but I imagine it's going to be a big file. That it's going to be hours long. It'll drop the next day. So hopefully we'll get that dropped on the 7th, and y'all can see the chaos that I'm sure is going to ensue. To prep for that, let's go into it a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about the basis of the one shot, a few homebrewed rules that I use that are a little different than standard 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. And then we're going to go over and do some more intro to D&D tutorial stuff. Essentially, I'm going to kind of show, mostly for my players, but some of y'all too, how to create a character in D&D Beyond. This is specifically going to be in regards to my campaign, but 98% of it's pretty interchangeable to any campaign. I'll even say 99% of it. So no worries. But first things first, what are we doing? So a one shot, as I've said, I think is going to be just a one-time game. We're not doing a long-running campaign, and we're just going to play one evening, and everything's going to wrap up the time we're done. And it's going to be fun. That gives a little more flexibility and freedom. Um, and you can do things with your characters that you probably wouldn't do if you knew you were doing a long running campaign. And I do apologize. I just realized my phone is not muted. Let me mute that before it ruins the recording, just in case, as it goes off as I say that. All righty. So, first thing I did is we got us together. We picked a day, we picked a time. That's all good. I've sent them a link to D&D Beyond to where I have set up a campaign. And by doing that, because of the subscription tier I have, I'm able to give them access to all of the books and documents that I've bought in the past. So in the process of this tonight, you may see some stuff that's not on the free D&D Beyond stuff. D&D is an expensive hobby. What can I say? Okay. So essentially, as I've wrote up for them, there's going to be plenty of homebrewed options that will show up in creating it: races, classes, feats, items. I know we haven't talked about feats or items really, but it's okay. That included, and okay. So we're starting at level 12. There's always that thing on one shots of what level do you start at? 12 is going to be good enough where they're not too powerful, whether it's just insanely crazy, but they're powerful enough to give them some interesting stuff to do. This is a nice balance between more veteran players and newer players. Um, Veteran players may have rarely got to this level or higher anyway, because campaigns sometimes will, excuse me, fizzle out before they get that high. But so this will give some nice fun stuff, but it's not so high, especially with casters, because they have 500 things to think about instead of a lot more than just hit it with an axe. It won't be too hard for newer players. And all of these things are going to be things your DM is going to do. A lot of times when you start at later levels, especially later than 3, 4, 5, first or third, fourth, fifth level, they'll tell you you can start with extra money or items. For my campaign, they're starting with 7 magic items: 2 common, 2 uncommon, 2 rare, 1 rare. And I told them they can forego 2 items of 1 rank to get an additional of the next higher rank, and that can compound. Essentially, what that means is if they didn't want to take any common items, they can forego that and get a 3rd uncommon item. I like common items, even though normally they have little to no combat value. They add role playing character. So essentially, if you wanted to, you could take um, two common items, turn it into an uncommon item. Now you have three. Take two of those, turn it into an extra rare. Now you have three rare. Take two of those and turn it into an extra very rare. And by that point, you'd have two very rare, one uncommon. You're down to four magic items, but really, two very rare items can be so much more powerful. A very rare item very well might be more powerful than the combination of what you've lost, which is one rare, one uncommon, and two common. I would say it probably is a good trade, but you'll see in my example character creation, I did not do that, and I feel I made a pretty powerful 12th level character. I like role playing stuff too, even though this is going to be a one shot and it's a combat heavy one shot that I've told them. So it's going to be minimum role play. But when I get to telling you about the backstory here, you'll see. Essentially, and let's see what other details. I also gave them 10,000 gold to work with. Because they're 12th level, I figure they are already adventurers or heroes, or they've done something to earn levels. Because a regular human, Joe Blow commoner, level 0. So just even having one level means you're better. You're like Olympic level athletes, um, or like storied history professors if you're like, or mathematicians if you're like some wizard intellect level 1. So by 12th level, we're talking, demigods of the stories that a lot of us have come up with. Hercules, he's got higher than 20 strength, but like, yeah, he's probably 25th level, but really the variance there is not much. Your lower level heroes, like, I don't know, Beowulf, Odysseus, um, Robin Hood, these fellas, they're like level 3 or 4, if that. So level 12 is strong. 10,000 gold, I feel, is very reasonable. And you'll see what I did with the 10,000 gold. Let's see here. In the story, the characters, there's 6 of them, my PCs, they do not know each other. They have all been teleported or transported to this place. They do not know where they are at. They are in a room with couches and tables and chairs. It's pretty lavish. It looks like a waiting area. They can hear the roar of a crowd outside the walls. Some of them may know why they're there or how they got there. Some of them won't. I have not told them who is who and who knows what yet. They will find that out at the beginning of the gameplay. They don't know where, they may not know where they're at, who these other people are. They may know why they're there, they may not. We'll find out. I've told them that there are very powerful forces at play, and that's why they may or may not know anything, but they are all in this room. Some other things I've told them to think about is whether or not wherever they came from, A, what was that world like? And B, were they 12th level adventurers as a part of a party of other people? Worrying about, party balance, and when they were like doing their training and growing as they leveled up, were they thinking about that in their character selection and their choices? Or were they like some solo adventurer, debonair hero? I'm thinking comic books, like Punisher's probably like a 10th level fighter with a like gunslinger subclass, and like the Die Hard feat. Were they like some solo who had to live on their own, so they're a little more jack of all jack of all trades, master of none type thing? I want them to have these choices, so they're not. I don't care if this party's 12 or is all 6 barbarians, if that's what they want to play, we're not worrying about party balance here. I will be taking that into consideration when I make their encounters. Now we go on to the next stuff. These are some of the explanations and the rule changes that I've told them about. Some of it's rule changes, some of it's just explanation of how I play and how I want my players to play. Essentially, I won't be fudging dice. I won't be pulling punches. PC death and or TPK, which is total party kills, could be a thing in some situations. There are always ways to defeat scenarios with and without combat. No combat will be completely unwinnable without having some kind of way out. Whether they think of it or not, or whether they charge head first in, there may be combat encounters when I DM that you should not fight. There may be situations where you should, if you were paying attention, know that before the encounter, or you should figure that out very soon into that encounter and there'll be a way out. But if you're going to fight, sometimes you might die. Not always. Not every encounter, obviously, when I'm running a game is to the death or is so hard. Sometimes you might just stumble across, a level 10 party may stumble across a single wolf that's just hungry and wants to fight because it's hungry and it wants to eat you. They can kill that in one action by one party member. But, there's always something you need to think about. Don't be rash. The next thing is try to limit metagaming. I think I talked about that last time. Using player knowledge to influence what your character's doing. So try to limit metagaming, for it messes with the fates and pisses the DM off. But the next caveat is all PCs must be the adventurer hero types, whether they be anti-heroes or heroes. They can even be villains, but they can be evil, but they've got to have the slight level of metagaming in order for the characters to stay with the party, at least in the grand scheme of things. There could be little arguments and tiffs between characters. That's fun. If a player decides that they can't play that character anymore because they wouldn't do this or they wouldn't do that, and their character could not stay with the group or cooperate anymore, they are free to roll up a new character and turn over their old one to me, and I'll use it as an NPC. These things may not come into play because we're doing a one shot, but these are just some general rules to keep in mind to give you an idea of my DMing style. I sound like a hard ass. I sound like a rule Nazi. I sound like I'm going to try to kill you at every turn. It's not true. I love flexibility. And you'll find out I love powerful characters. I love powerful PCs. It's more interesting. It gives them more fun. And it makes my job a little more challenging, but I like it. So for starting ability scores, there's all kinds of options on how you do that. You can do point buy, you can roll. Depending on your DM, they may allow one option, 2 options, 3 options. There's a bunch of them. There's dozens of ways to get your starting ability scores. I tell you what they're going to be, and you pick which ones go into which skill or which ability. 17, 15, 13, 12, 10, and 8. These really don't mean a lot right this second for you, but gold weight is ignored. Yes, I know gold is heavy. Gold is real heavy in real life. People like carrying money in D&D. We just ignore it. But you'll find out what I do as a player when I'm showing you my example character. Second thing, in 5e rules, feats are optional as chosen by the DM. I say feats are a thing. And I even give my characters an extra feat at first level. All PCs get it. The only PCs that could normally start with a feat of first level is if their race is the variant human, the human variant. So technically in my games, the human variant would actually start with 2 feats. Anything officially published by Wizards of the Coast is available, especially if it's on D&D Beyond. I don't think there's much Unearthed Arcana right now, but if there was any Unearthed Arcana and it was on D&D Beyond, I'd let them use it too. Plus non-official Critical Role extras that are on D&D Beyond, like the Blood Hunter. I allow custom backgrounds. So there's like 20 or 30 listed in the rule books, the various rule books. I allow people to use custom backgrounds. That's an optional rule in the player's handbook. Also in the player, as the rules is written, intimidation is charisma based. I say you can use strength instead of charisma in situations where you're using force, physical threats, etc., where strength would make sense. I'll let them know when they tell me they want to intimidate and how they want to intimidate. I'll let them know that they can use strength in those situations. If I don't let them know, charisma applies. Another official rule is taking potions is your whole action to take a potion, a healing potion or another type of potion. I say potions can be quaffed as a bonus action. Freeze it up, lets players do more. Feeding a potion to someone else, if they were like like they were dead or dying or whatever, that's still an action. Flanking, another optional rule. Flanking's a thing in mine. It gives advantage. That means you and one of your allies is on opposite sides of a bad guy, and you get advantage on your attack roll. It means you roll 2 dice instead of 1 and take the highest, which is good. Critical hits are normally roll the damage die twice, add your modifier. For me, you take the maximum amount from the damage dice that you could have done, and then roll it again, add those together, add your modifier. So instead of rolling 2 sets of dice, you're getting one of them automatically maximized. So for instance, if you crit with a basic longsword and you had a 16 strength, instead of doing 2d8 plus 3, I let you do 8 plus 1d8 plus 3 or 1d8 plus 11. If we forget to do that, we just roll regular crit damage, whatever. But we don't normally forget. I've played long-term campaigns with that rule. We don't forget it. So that is some of the basics of what the campaign's going to be like, what I'm kind of like, some extra rules. Sorry about that noise my computer just made. Next thing we're going to do is go into D&D Beyond and look at some things. All righty, so here is D&D Beyond. Essentially, this is the campaign area that I've set up. These are Bridget and Dirk, apparently, are 2 characters that some of my players are already working on. You can see here's my test dudette. We'll go into her in a minute after we've already done this. But first, I want to go into the character creation process. Now, if you already know this is a good place to stop. I mean, if you're one of my players or another player and you know how to, if you're solid on making a player character, you can stop here. My players, at least hang on for the next couple minutes. All righty. So we're going to confirm here. We're going to make a new character. We're going to let this load. I do apologize. Let's go to my coffee. All righty. I am not going to create a character right now. That's too much thinking and mental strain, but I'm going to set some things up for you and show you around. All right. Here you can pick your portrait. I'm just going to pick the first random one that's not horrendous. That's a cool looking female dwarf. Nope, she's ugly. She has a beard. Let's do that dwarf. He could be a human. This is where you type in their name. We're going to do test subject. Just for now. I don't care. Here is some sources. I have signed up some homebrew content that I want my players to be able to use so they can select that. I want them to be able to select Critical Role content. They can get the Magic the Gathering and Eberron content. Screw the Rick and Morty content. I'm not about the cartoons. Non-core D&D and Dragonlance content, they can access. That's all good with me. Another rule I told them about also is no guns. There are guns in D&D as alternate options. It's a D&D thing. It's a DM caveat whether they can use them or not. Gunpowder has not been invented in my worlds. And just thematically, because you can really play D&D in any setting. And I know my players are all from different worlds and they're going to have different things. They may be even for different dimensions or planes of existence. But all of them are medieval fantasy themed. Again, think Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, your stereotypical Dungeons and Dragons. All right. Dice rolling, this is just a thing for D&D Beyond. That's fine. They can use the optional class features and customizing their origin if they want to. We're not getting XP and leveling up during this, so it's fine. But milestones is what I always play as it when I'm DMing. We do milestone leveling. Hit point type, if they want to take fixed, my apologies. If they want to take fixed hit points or manually roll each level, for my players, I don't care. Here, we're not leveling again. I just say do fixed, but they can do either one. I don't care. Feats and multi-class requirements, yes and yes for prerequisites. This is a user interface thing. Does not affect character creation. I use it. We are using encumbrance, and we are ignoring coring weight, as I said. And this is more user interface stuff. All right, here's where you select your race. As I said, there are all types of different races to choose from. And if you click on some of them, like let's click on Genasi, the genie people. As you can see, now we have the subclasses, and then you can click that. You can read what they are, what they give you, or you could choose the race. Here, we are going to actually just choose, we're going to be a dwarf, and we're going to be a, which one are we going to want to be? We're going to do dwarven toughness. And for, again, here is your skills that you get for the race. There's one more selection it tells me I have to do. He's going to be this is just mostly role playing, but you never know. It could have a use in game. He's going to be a brewer. Okay. And again, origin manager. I can change a few things. I could change the ability score, origin proficiencies, languages, stuff like this. But I'm going to actually say for my character I'm creating, I like the base stuff. All righty. Next up, here's where you click your create your class. And again, you can read through it here. And all classes have subclasses. They unlock at different levels for different classes. We're going to say for my character, I'm making a hill dwarf, and he is going to be a stereotypical barbarian. All righty. And what I like doing is I like going off the top and immediately leveling him to where I'm going to be starting my game at. So here, my character is full 12. He's not multi-classing. If you wanted multi-class, I could say do, say you wanted to be 10 levels of barbarian and 2 levels of fighter. I could do that, go select another class. Obviously, I can't select barbarian because he's already level 10. But I'm not going to add a class. He's going to be a level 12 barbarian. Alrighty. First, I'm going to go check this because I know I do want to do this. These are additional features that you could just automatically add to your barbarian. He'll take those. There's no swaps for barbarian. Alrighty. So hit points. This stuff's don't really have to worry about if you're using D&D Beyond. It's auto-calculated. Proficiencies for barbarian, he's going to take perception because perception is always good, and he's going to take athletics. He's not a scary barbarian. He's a physical barbarian. Obviously, he gets rage, unarmored defense. These are all barbarian traits, danger sense, primal knowledge. We have another selection to make. He gets another skill. He's going to be now he's going to start. After he got to level 3, he started getting a little intimidating. Alrighty, Primal Path. This is the subclasses of Barbarian. My Barbarian, because I like them, and it's a stereotype, he's going to be a Totem Warrior Barbarian. And he's going to be the Beast of All, Bear Totem. When raging, I have resistance to all damage except Psychic. And he's going to take an ability score improvement, actually. And I told you I get one at character creation. This is 4th level. I'll show you how to add the starting one later. You can't do it through the character creator. You have to do it through the character sheet screen. All righty, so he's going to start. Always good to buff your strength as a barbarian. I do want to pause here before you start buffing your stats. It's also probably good to go over here and figure out what your base stats are. Let's go. Like I said, mine are set, so we're going to put them in manually. And as I told you, they are 17, 15, 13, 12, 10, and 8. I think that's what I told you. Was that what I told you? 17, 15, 13, 12, 10, and 8. Yes, it is. So that is his stats. They are set in stone. Here you can see what they are. I'm going to hide that, but this is where you could roll your die if you wanted to. So these are his stats. Remember, he already got that +2 bonus to strength. But I'm actually going to back up here now and actually change that a little bit. He's going to do 1 strength and 1 constitution. And I do that because whole numbers are good, or even numbers are good. They give you an extra bonus. There's no benefit. 18 and 19 gives you the same bonus of +4. It doesn't go up to +5 till you get up to 20. So next time he might get wisdom and dex. That might be beneficial because dex will increase my AC. Wisdom will increase my perception. That might be good. Or it might just buff my strength again. All right. For aspect of a beast, I can choose another one for my subclass. Let's see. I don't remember what these do. This would increase my carrying capacity. No, thank you. Eagle, I get good eyesight. Elk, our travel pace is doubled. No. I get 2 more skill proficiencies, or I can track real well. We're going to take the 2 more skill proficiencies, and we're going to take those in stealth and acrobatics. A stealthy, strong barbarian. Holy hell. All right, ability score. I lied about splitting those. I'm going to go and dump this into strength again. Primal knowledge. Let's go with he's got a little survival skills. And this one, I can't do strength, you'll notice, because it's already maxed at 20 now. Let's throw this into constitution. I love having healthy barbarians. And you notice I didn't take any feats, actually. But that's okay. You always get the option, feat or ability score improvement. Barbarians, you can do a lot with feats. I like the ability scores for them. Hit hard. All righty. So here you can choose your background. Let's see. Let's go real stereotypical. He was... Let's see. Are we going to go stereotypical dwarf or stereotypical barbarian? Let's go stereotypical dwarf, actually. He's going to be a failed merchant. Maybe? Nope, he's going to be a crafter. Remember, he was a brewer. So where is that skill? What do I want? Clan crafter. The stout folk are well known for their artisanship. Blah, 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 blah. This gives them history and insight. Those both kind of suck. They're intelligence-based. He already had brewing supplies. Let's see. What might go good with brewing supplies? He's a brewer and he's a cook. He's good in the kitchen. It adds Dwarvish to my language. That was kind of useless, but it's okay. It's okay. Languages, they're very useful for role play and stuff, but sometimes you do selections for role-playing purposes and character development purposes, not necessarily for optimization. I am kind of a min-maxer, but not always. Alrighty, here's where you can select alignment if your character is religious, which of the gods he believes in most, what kind of lifestyle he lives on in general, physical traits, personality traits, and other notes. We're going to leave that because we're just doing a basic thing. Here is equipments. I always start with, you do starting equipment. I like doing equipment. It gives you the base stuff based on what class you are. We're going to say he's a great axe wielding MFer. Give him some extra hand axes in his Explorer pack. He's going to start with brewer's supplies, and these other things are automatic. As I said, we're going to go down here and add an extra 10,000. That was an extra 0 slot that I wasn't supposed to do. All right, that's how much gold my feller starts with. All righty. Next thing I'm going to do, now what I would do, and I'm not going to do this right now for us, for the most part. I'm going to go select a couple items just so I can get a badass feller. So I know there's a cool bracer that barbarians would do. +2 if you were wearing no armor. I want to grab that. That is a rare item. Remember, I get 2 of those. I also want to grab, let's say, a ring of defense. Nope, that's not what it's called. Let's try amulet of defense, maybe. Amulet. Or let's just search defense. I already got that. What am I talking about? Let's do amulet of health is always awesome. Your constitution is 19. My constitution's already 20. What about periapt? Immune to disease? No, thank you. Okay. So we're kind of getting a little lame here. What's one more thing? Dwarves are known for being slow. Let's say he got himself some boots of speed to help him get into combat better. This is going to be his other rare item for right now. Do I want to do that? Yeah, that'll work. Click your heels and you double your movement speed, basically. And we're going to give him a nice battle axe. And I'm going to make it a +3, which is very rare. So I could still go and add 2 uncommon and 2 common items. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Probably. Let's go look real quick at, we're going to delete that. And we're going to say no common items. There's no other gear found. What if I say rings? Is there any cool rings here that might work right off the top of my head? That are common? No. What about wondrous items? I'm just scrolling through here real quick. I know one. The Dread Helm. It does not. I get 2 common items, and I told you most of these do nothing that's combat effective. Dread Helm makes your eyes glow red, and it looks pretty badass. That's cool for a barbarian. All righty, and we're gonna say he also is a pipe smoker, and he smokes a pipe of smoke monsters. And then next up, now I need some barbarian or some uncommon items. I'm just looking around here what we could do. Cloak protection's good. Gives me a +1 to AC. Barbarians love to have strong AC. And we're going to go... Bear with me. Oh, there's so much stuff to choose from. This is why this game is hard, y'all. Character creation is my favorite thing because there are hundreds and hundreds of different selections you can make. Spellwoven robes, not good for a barbarian, but here's one of the items that I've allowed that are third party and homebrewed. Comes from Griffin Saddleback. Not a barbarian thing. Alrighty, I got one more I still got to add, and we're just going to make this real quick. And I've said this like 5 times. Mask of the Beast, what's that do? Animal friendship spell. No, thank you. He's a lucky barbarian. I get advantages with 1 ability check of my choice once per day. Sure. All righty. Now we're going to scroll up all the way to the top here. And I'm going to equip these real quick. And I actually can sell this because I already have my magic great axe. Did I get a battle axe? I meant to get a great axe. Let's go down here. Great axe. And we're going to have to do that and that. And get the actual correct item this time. Good job, Nicholas. We're going to get that now. All right, we're going to wield that. But as I said, we could sell this. So I'm going to sell it. Remember, it's worth 30, so you sell it for 15. Keep that number in mind, 15 gold. Hand axes, you never know. They come in useful. You could throw them. These are the only options I have for range. Barbarians are normally not good at range. So I'm actually going to keep those. The rest of this stuff is very basic. Backpack, bedrolls, brewer supplies, blah, 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 blah. So I said I sold my old regular common battle axe, or great axe, I'm sorry, for 15 gold. Okay, let's go add that to my gold supply. All right, I have $10,020 now. Now, go to add items. Uncheck magical. Buy to your heart's content until you run out of money. You can click on it, find out what it's gold, buy anything you want. As long as it's not magical, I don't care now. But you got to remember, you got to carry weight. So you can only carry a maximum amount of stuff. We'll look at that in a minute. All right, now what's next? We're done. Let's go look at the character sheet. All righty. What are we up to? 37 minutes? Should only take us a couple minutes more. Some other things to remember. What you're going to want to do, I normally do, is go to inventory, scroll down to the bottom. Ooh, I did a bad. I got too many things that require attunement. I can't attune to my luck stone. That's going to be kind of useless for me, but that's okay. And I always like selecting at least one range option just so I have it. I'm also going to select that. That means I'm using it, and that means it's going to show up in my actions. So now I can see I have a 19 armor class with 161 hit points. If I click my heals, I can move at 70 feet per round as an action. Here's my stats, my saving throws, my skills, or my abilities, my skills, and all of that. You see here, I never got around to rounding those up. That'd probably be something as a character I would do at level 15 if I didn't want to take a feat. Speaking of feats, let's go get a feat. To do that, to add that feat I would have got at character creation at level 1, you go to features. This lists all of your features. And if you go to feats, you realize I have no feats. But you can go to manage feats and add one. You can do this at any time. But your DMs probably are going to look at your character sheet on occasion. Make sure you've got everything accurate. You're tracking your money good. You're not missing anything. All of that. So I'm going to say we're going to add a feat. One of my favorite feats, especially for a barbarian, is tough. I want to stay alive longer. So we're going to go add the tough feat, which gives me hit point maximum is increased by an amount equal to twice my level. So my HP is about to go up by 24. Add. There we go. I have 185. That was the feat I had at first level. I was a tough MF. As I said, here's your inventory. If I had spells, and I kind of do because I'm a totem barbarian, I can speak with animals at will. Yeah, for up to 10 minutes, but then I can just recast it. I can beast sense at will and commune with nature at will. Pretty nifty. Again, here's my description. If I filled any of this out, I can add extra notes about stuff. I can manage some extras and add all kinds of stuff to my character sheet. So this is mostly to have quick access to information. But alrighty, here is everything you can see here. Obviously, I could go much more in depth. And you can see here, he has a plus 12 to hit with a D12 plus 8 modifier on his damage. That sounds pretty good. If I rolled an 8, that means I could hit on average die roll is 10. So that means on an average die roll, I can hit anybody with an AC of 22 or lower and do an average of, about 13 damage. Sounds good. Let's go to my other character that I made. Took a little more time on him, or I guess it'd be a her. We're going to go back to my campaigns. We're going to go over here to View Campaign. And we're going to look at Draconia, the DM test dudette. We're not going to go through the character creation process, but she is a human ranger, Drake Warden. Specifically variant human. Alrighty. She has a strength of 10, a dexterity of 20, a constitution of 19, intelligence of 12, wisdom of 18. She only has 124 HP, but she has the same armor class as that barbarian. 60 hit points less, yes. 35-foot movement speed. She is resistant to lightning damage. Plus 12 to perception. You saw that plus 12 to hit on him. She's got a plus 16. She does a D8 plus 10. Ooh, wow. She also has an ability called Drake's Breath that she can use once per long rest. 30-foot line, 16 dexterity save, does 86 damage. She also has all this more interesting stuff to do. Barbarians basically just hit it with an axe. One cool one, as a reaction, because of her gift of the Gem Dragon, she can, anytime she takes damage from a creature within 10 feet of her, she can telekinetically make an explosion that does 2d8 force damage. They have to do a strength saving throw or they're pushed back 10 feet. Yep. Of course, she is a ranger, so she can cast a few spells. She can cure wounds, hunter's mark, speak with animals, beast sense, pass without a trace, conjure barrage, revivify. Pretty cool stuff. Here's her inventory. Longbow plus 3. I didn't even tell you. One of my feats, sharpshooter, I ignore long range. She can hit you from 600, just like this long range right here. 600 feet without penalty. Let's go back to the inventory. Amulet of Health. She has a constitution score of 19. That's only one less than the barbarian. Wings of Flying. For 1 hour per day, she can fly as wings pop out of her back for 1 hour. 60-foot fly speed as a ranger. She can fly 60 feet per round, shoot you from 600 feet away. Bracers of Archery gave her some bonuses to her shooting. Serpent Scale armor. Gave her, it's just some nice armor. Buffed her AC a little bit. And this is how I like laying out my equipment. You notice this stuff's all basically on me. And you notice I only have 36 gold and I'm only carrying 75 pounds. I organize stuff into my backpack, a few things. You notice I say here, I've only got 2 rations on me. One of the other magic items I got, Tank of Sobriety and a prosthetic limb. Her background, she's missing a leg and she's recovering alcoholic. But this stuff's in my backpack. I got this in my pouch. Look at this. Black sapphire worth 5,000 gold. There's not a whole lot of stuff that you really need that you're going to be carrying around all the time. I'm realistic. Even though we're ignoring gold weight, gold is heavy in real life. If you were rich, you had 10,000 gold in real life, you'd be carrying it in gems. So that's what she does. She has a 5,000 gold worth black sapphire. She's got a bloodstone, some coral. She's got a dice set. Emerald, garnet, jade, jet. Plus she's carrying her mess kit. Some realistic stuff along with her gems. Onyx. She's got a potion of healing. some purple worm poison in case she needs. That's this one vial of poison costs 2,000 gold. It's potent. Star Ruby Tinderbox. She carries around 3 truth serums. Her background is she was a member of the town watch. She was a guard for the king. She did when she's doing some investigations. This particular town used truth serums. She hung on to a few in case she ever needs it. She also carries a quiver with 20 arrows in it. I told you her magic items. If you go down here, other possessions. What's this say? You said 2 rations. That's all she carries. What about rope and torches? She's a human. She can't see. She's only carrying 2 rations and 2 torches. No rope, no bedroll. On Drake, she's a Drake warden. She has a pet Drake. And it has a 45-foot fly speed. And he carries around some satchels. And carries around her stuff. That way she could stay lighter on her feet. She's only carrying 75 pounds. Her carrying capacity is 150. There's no mechanical bonus in game for carrying half your carrying capacity. But in real life, I would not want to be hauling around 5 pounds worth of gear or 150 pounds worth of gear. Let my animal carry the load. Here's again her abilities and all this. We haven't went into half of stuff. She took a fighting initiate, sharpshooter, and gifted the gem dragon as her feats. Again, I didn't go through much of a description, but she was in the town militia, like I told you. No notes. I haven't done that yet. But these are just different characters you can create. And I would say this is a lot more of an interesting character than the barbarian. So you can get really cool with it. And, well, let me know what y'all think. And for my players, I don't know how much of this you watched, but I hope it was enough to get you the information you needed. And let's get to playing. We just got about a week, and we'll be playing our game, and I'll get it out to y'all as soon as I can. There'll be another video or two that drops on the channel between now and then. Don't worry. But in the meantime, thank you so much. Do that YouTube thing. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Y'all have a good one now.